Ever felt overwhelmed by life's challenges? Today, we're diving into The Subtle Art of Not Giving a by Manson, a book that could change your outlook. If you haven't read it, no problem. We've got the top 10 lessons simplified to transform how you deal with challenges, relationships, and happiness. This book isn't just a read, it's a guide to navigating the intricacies of life with a fresh perspective. Make sure you stick around till the end for some game-changing insights. Lesson 1. Choose your wisely. Manson's first lesson in The Subtle Art of Not Giving a resonates profoundly with the idea that our time and energy are finite resources. In a world bombarding us with information and demands, Manson urges us to be intentional about where we direct our attention. The concept is simple, yet transformative. We can't care about everything. Life's journey is filled with numerous distractions, from societal expectations to the constant chatter of social media. Manson encourages us to take a step back and evaluate what truly matters to us. By doing so, we gain clarity on our core values and priorities. The key takeaway here is that by focusing on what truly matters, we free ourselves from the burden of trying to please everyone and everything. Lesson 2. Embrace responsibility. Manson, the author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a says we should stop thinking of ourselves as victims of our circumstances. Instead of blaming things around us for our problems, he wants us to acknowledge that we play a role in both our successes and failures. Imagine you're driving a car. Embracing responsibility is like grabbing the steering wheel. It's saying, I may not control everything on the road, but I do control how I react and where I'm heading. Manson is against thinking of ourselves as passive victims. He believes that mindset doesn't help us. When we blame everything on external things, we give away our power. Embracing responsibility means understanding that, even when things go wrong, we have the ability to make choices that can lead to better outcomes. So, the next time you face a challenge, instead of pointing fingers at others or external factors, think about what you can do to steer things in the right direction. Lesson 3. Accept life's uncertainties. Lesson 3 is all about accepting that life is full of surprises. Manson wants us to understand that we can't predict everything, and that's perfectly okay. Life is a bit like a roller coaster, sometimes thrilling, sometimes unpredictable. Manson suggests that instead of trying to control every little thing, we should embrace the unpredictability. Life is a big, messy puzzle. You can't control all the pieces, and sometimes they won't fit the way you want them to. Accepting life's uncertainties means being okay with that. By accepting the unpredictability of life, Manson says we can find peace. It's a bit like going with the flow rather than constantly trying to swim against the current. Lesson 4. Embrace failure. Lesson 4 is being okay with making mistakes. The author wants us to understand that failure is a natural part of life. He challenges the idea that we always need to be successful and encourages us to see failure as a path to success. Imagine you're learning to ride a bike. You might fall a few times before you get the hang of it. It's okay to fall, because each time you fall, you learn something new about how to balance and ride better. Manson thinks our society often puts too much pressure on being successful all the time, but he suggests that success and failure are like two sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other. Failure isn't the end. It's a step towards figuring things out. It's not a sign that you're not good enough. It's a sign that you're trying, learning, and moving closer to success. Lesson 5. Be honest with yourself. Lesson 5 encourages us to be truthful with yourself. Imagine you have a magic mirror that shows your true self, flaws and all. Being honest with yourself is like looking into that mirror and saying, I know I'm not perfect, and that's okay. I can work on the things I want to improve. Manson believes that when we're honest with ourselves, we can make better decisions. It's a bit like having a map that shows where you are and where you want to go. If you're not honest about where you are, the map won't help much. So, the next time you feel like you're not being true to yourself or avoiding something important, remember Lesson 5. Be honest with yourself. Lesson 6. Define your values. Lesson 6 is about figuring out what matters to you. Defining your values is a lot like making a list of the things that are most important to you. It could be honesty, kindness, adventure, or anything that feels true to who you are. Once you have this list, it becomes your roadmap for making choices. Manson believes that when we live according to our values, we feel more fulfilled. Whenever you're unsure about a decision, think about your values. Remind yourself that these are the things that really matter to you, so make decisions that align with them. It helps you stay true to who you are and find a deeper sense of fulfillment in your journey. Lesson 7. The importance of saying no. Lesson 7 shows us the power of saying no. Think of it this way. You have a plate. Saying no is like not piling too much on that plate. If you say yes to everything, your plate overflows and you end up feeling overwhelmed. But when you say no to the things that don't really matter, you make room for what truly does. Manson argues that saying no to the wrong things is actually saying yes to what truly matters to you. It's like telling yourself, I won't waste my time on things that don't bring me joy or move me forward. Instead, I'll say yes to what really aligns with my values and goals. Lesson 8. Embrace the inevitability of death. Lesson 8 is about dealing with a tough topic, the fact that everyone someday will not be here. Life is like a clock, and it's ticking down. Embracing the inevitability of death is like realizing that the clock is running, and we can't stop it. It might sound a bit scary, but Manson argues that understanding our time is limited can actually motivate us to make the most of every moment. When we acknowledge that our time is precious, we start focusing on things that truly matter to us, our passions, relationships, and personal growth. Embracing the inevitability of death, not about dwelling on the end, it's about making the most of the time you have right now and finding meaning in every moment. Lesson 9. Find happiness in the process. Lesson 9 teached us to enjoy the journey, not just the destination. Instead of always chasing happiness, we should find joy in the journey itself. Picture life as a road trip. Finding happiness in the journey means appreciating the scenery, the music, and the moments along the way, not just the final destination. Manson suggests that constant happiness is like chasing an illusion, but true fulfillment comes from valuing each step you take. So, if you're waiting for that big moment to be happy, find happiness in the process. Lesson 10. You are not special. Lesson 10 gives us a reality check. Mark Manson wants us to understand that we're not automatically deserving of success or happiness. It's like taking a step back and realizing that we aren't the center of the universe. Life is like a big stage with lots of actors. You are not the only main character. Everyone has their own story. He argues that constantly seeking validation, wanting everyone to tell us how great we are, can actually hold us back. By letting go of this need for constant praise, we can focus on building a life that's meaningful and purposeful. And there you have it, the top 10 lessons from the subtle art of not giving a. I hope these insights resonate with you as much as they did with us. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep inspiring.